Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And John.
JD.
You guys seem so chipper this fine Monday evening.
We're out of our routine.
Yeah, sorry. I had a date. So, besides being out of our routine, how are you guys doing? John, you sighed heavily. How are you?
I'm okay. Not looking forward to the fact that this today on Monday that we're recording this is the last of the forced holidays. And now we have to go into the long dry spell of having to work 5 days a week. And
you don't get President's Day? A lot of people don't get President's Day anymore.
Nah, we don't get President's Day.
Not until 4th of July, right? Or wait, no, Memorial Day comes first.
Or maybe Easter isn't a day, right? No, that's just always on a Sunday. So Memorial Day first. Yeah,
Good
I guess.
Friday. Most people get Good Friday off.
Yeah.
No, not everyone. I actually worked at a place that was owned by a Catholic, so we got Good Friday and Easter Monday off. It was a long time ago.
So yeah, I'm fine. I mean, blah 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 blah.
Uh-oh.
No.
All right.
Nothing to talk about.
Oh,
that bad, huh?
No, not bad. Just.
Are you drinking a bottle of lotion?
No, it's rum chata. I only have a little bit left in the bottle.
Gotcha. It looked like you were drinking oil of Olay.
Well,
no, I'm just trying to get rid of this. It's actually, have you ever had rum chata?
I don't drink.
Oh, that's right. You're straight edge.
Well, I've got mine, so.
How about you, John? Have you ever had rum chata?
Nope.
Do you like rice pudding?
No.
Is it the texture or the flavor that you don't like? Yes. Okay. Well, if you don't like rice pudding, you're not going to like it. It tastes like rice pudding. It's really good.
Oh, like horchata? Horchata's disgusting.
Who
That's what it is. It's horchata, but with rum in it.
Oh.
Who sat there slurping up rice pudding and thought, you know what would make this better? Alcohol. Actually, no, that makes sense.
You, JD.
Oh.
Exactly, JD.
Trying not to gag thinking of rice pudding. Disgusting.
I know, right?
I'm all right. I work for a school district, so we have lots of days off.
Yeah.
Tons. We have a half day every other Friday.
Nice.
Institute days. We're supposed to talk about things. I don't know. They throw so many acronyms at you as a teacher, and I don't know what the hell's going on half time. I just sit there and nod and think about other things.
That's what they call on the East Coast the teacher in-service days or something, I guess.
Yes, or no, professional development is now what they...
Professional development is the proper term, yes.
Yes, that is what they call them at my girlfriend's school, so yeah.
So I took my kids down to watch the University of Illinois wrestling team wrestle. I took my little guy there to it too, and it was really good. It was a really good little weekend.
Were they the pictures you posted?
Yeah, the pictures I posted. There's a junior high kid who trains with me outside of the season. So I went down there and watched him in an all-star meet. That was before this meet. So it was cool. We got to see him wrestle, and we got to watch the Illini beat up Purdue, which is always fun. It was a good time. Yeah, the coach there is a good friend, so he made sure all my kids had their shoes autographed by the team.
Oh.
And then my son they were doing a t-shirt toss. So the 197 pounder who I coached when he was in high school launched it right at him and he caught it. And then he got the shirt signed by the team afterwards. So it was good. It was a good experience. Didn't get home till 1 a.m, but it was a good experience.
They're the best.
Could have done without that one, but yeah, it was fun. Good weekend. Cool. Dave, I saw you had a date.
Yes, I told you that. Oh, I didn't say it on the show, but I bought a couple things for my girlfriend. One was it's a couple's cooking class, and that was last night.
Was it making bacon naked?
No, that is one thing you don't do. Bacon splashes.
I know that would hurt like a bitch, but I saw that somewhere online. I'm like, I have to remember that for Dave next time we have this conversation. So I've been saving that for a couple weeks.
It was called Sunday Supper South Philly style.
That is as ridiculous as the thing I just threw out there. But continue.
For those who aren't from Philadelphia, aren't familiar, like there's a large Italian population that lives in South Philly. Like that's, there's an Italian market and all that stuff down there.
You know where I learned that? You know where I learned that?
Where?
Rocky.
Oh my God. Yeah, that actually makes sense. I didn't even think of that. So so obviously meant Italian food, right? I was like, it was so much food. It's ridiculous. It wasn't exactly like, I thought it was going to be like a regular cooking class where everyone had their own station. And there was a teacher at the front of the class and says, okay, now do this, and everyone does it. Instead, it was like they had a long counter and they had different stations set up for different things to do for the preparation. And everyone took turns going around while some people, we were cutting up sausage and other people were making meatballs and,
This is all innuendo.
So yeah, but and like then when you're done, everyone sits around these like big square tables together. And, you talk and you enjoy the food, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of food.
Do you have to talk to people you don't know?
You don't have to, but you can.
Okay. Pass.
So you don't have to, is what you're saying.
You do a podcast.
I know you guys.
I don't like talking to people I don't know.
Oh, you're good at it, John.
That's the sad part. That's the weird part.
God's practical joke.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, we did but they were mini brajoles, meatballs, sausage. So there was first course was antipasta. What?
I got the bad joke. Come on. You ate the antipasta. Then you had
pasta. There's the second course.
Did you really eat it all?
Did I really eat it all?
If you have the pasta and the antipasta, have you truly eaten anything?
Oh my God. That is a it's
terrible, but it's why I was waiting. Like, come on, give me what I want.
Pasta. There was a pasta course with the meatballs, sausage, and brajol, and then we did the main course, which was one of the main things I helped make, was a stuffed pork loin. Wait, no joke. Okay, good.
Too easy.
That's broccoli rabe and a salad, and then there was a dessert course, which was cannoli mousse. That was so good. But like, we were both so stuffed when we got out of there.
Keep the cannoli. Sorry.
No, it's leave the gun, take the cannolis.
I was looking at the whole thing. You weren't killing people. Were you?
Maybe.
Is that in Philadelphia? Where's Goodfellas take place again? I forget.
Chicago.
No, it's not Chicago.
You sure?
No. I would have asked the question if I knew for sure.
Well, while you look that up, so that was that was our weekend. It was a lot of fun.
New York City.
Is it New York City? Goodfellas?
That makes the most sense, actually. So never mind.
And then her one son got accepted to the University of the Arts, so we were all happy about that. We went out to dinner Saturday night to celebrate that, and then we had our cooking class.
Where is the University of the Arts?
It's in Philadelphia.
Okay, I didn't know.
Philadelphia University of the Arts. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yes, so that's he's the artist in the family, and that was like his top pick. So he's glad he got in. Yep. So yeah, I ate a lot this weekend. I'm not happy about that. Well, I am, but I'm not. You're happy in that moment when you're stuffing your face.
It's a complicated relationship we have with Italian cooking,
or just with food in general. I mean,
mainly Italian cooking in my case. It's very carby, very heavy. Very delicious.
Yeah.
Yes, but I will say that stuffed pork was delicious. It was stuffed with Asiago prosciutto and a little green vegetable.
Oh,
I don't remember what it was.
Peas.
No, it wasn't peas. It was like arugula. That's it. Arugula. Yes, it was very good.
Sounds good.
So, yes. But speaking of things that we regret, we got to do social media madness.
Don't have to.
We got a lot this week, because we haven't done it in a while. So, people want to say things.
That doesn't mean we have to catch up.
Much like John said, you don't have to talk to people you don't know.
Well, you know Drew, though.
I do know. Drew likes to express his feelings on the show as they're happening. It's like a stream of consciousness, like poetry.
So let's start off. WBD. What's
Warner Brothers Discovery.
Warner Brothers Discovery are doing a Flash Super Bowl ad. Wow.
That is true.
Yes. What else did he say? He said, "I'm excited to hear about John's next date. Good luck."
We're all waiting for the other shoe to drop on this one, John. So how bad was it?
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop too.
It's good for you to have that attitude.
Okay, honestly, best date I've ever had.
So you immediately assume something bad's going to happen?
So wait,
I'll take that as a yes.
did you have a second date yet, or
no? Still,
Oh, okay.
still waiting for the other shoe to drop.
It's been a week. Did you ask her on the second date, or are you scared to ask because you're afraid something's going to go wrong?
Too complicated. Can't talk about it.
Oh,
I knew it.
goodness.
I knew it.
All right.
I knew it.
Drew, you cursed him. All right.
He did. Thank you, Drew.
I saw the first Avatar several times. It's a horrible movie, but the effects were amazing, and 3D was not novel. Now I see stuff in 3D. Oh, okay. It was novel at the time.
Why would you watch a horrible movie several times?
I don't know. I don't know anyone who's seen or posted about Avatar 2 either. It is weird how successful it is with no one saying anything about it. If you're going to a 3+ hour movie multiple times, I think you'd be super jazzed about it. This is true. I have not seen one of my friends post, I've seen the movie and it was good or bad.
I've seen literally a couple, like maybe 3 people post about talking about how they enjoyed it. But it's not like this was like that with Avatar 1 too. It was like, I don't know anybody that like loved the movie, but everybody went and saw it. So I'm like, who are these Avatar fans and how are they so good at staying quiet?
Yeah,
because I mean,
I only know a few people at work that actually saw it, but it's not like they were like, oh, I'm gonna go see it again next weekend. It's like, yeah, I saw it.
It's on its way to make $2 billion already. And I'm like,
it's wild.
How is that possible?
I got nothing.
I can't wait for JD's wrestling book. I'll probably get 2. One for my friend who likes wrestling.
You are that friend who likes wrestling, Drew. I know that for a fact. But I'll let you buy 2. It's gonna be a good one. I got notes from the editor last week, so I got some adjustments to make. Hoping late spring. We'll see how wrestling finishes. It's eating up my time right now.
Doesn't it suck when your day job ruins, your passion?
Well, that's the problem is wrestling is more of a passion thing than a day job. Teaching is the day job, and that's not helping.
Right. Well, there you go.
I'm a busy. I sat on my couch yesterday to watch Toy Galaxy, and I realized I haven't sat on my couch in like a week and a half.
Oh my goodness.
Relaxed. Like I'm always doing something.
He also said, I hope the Deadpool 3 isn't in the MCU proper. It being in the universe won't hurt or help the movie. I bet they'll do tongue-in-cheek reference to not being in the universe.
It'll be in the universe.
And then the Wednesday dance I found charming, but everyone doing it after lost the spirit and looks like they are trying too hard.
I only have one thing to say to that. Let it go.
To everybody, you know how it is. When people find something they like, they beat it to death so that we all hate it in 3 months. And then 6 years later, people go, oh, remember that thing? We used to all like that thing.
You remember how many kids on YouTube posted video of them singing Let It Go after?
I got another one for you. The Harlem Shake.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, man.
Dave, you are like frozen. You look like...
He looks like a horror movie.
He does. It looks like, I can't think of it. It's something from the 80s and it's going to drive me crazy.
Can you hear me?
Them
or I hear you just fine.
Not them.
They live a little
They
bit.
live.
They live.
Yeah.
Dave is taken over by the demon souls.
Scanners.
They're little scanners. His head
we're saying it, but Dave's camera froze up and with like they darkened inner with a bright outline. It was kind of scary.
Big Trouble in Little China a little bit. Prince of Darkness.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Right. Let's move on. We talked about Gal Gadot last week.
We did.
And how it looks like she's staying in the MCU. There hasn't been anything confirming it one way or the other.
MCU?
I'm sorry, the DCU.
At this point, who knows?
Yeah. She could be joining the MCU. Who knows?
It's true.
To which we did get a couple replies. This actually first one came in after I sent the email. It's from Shadow Walker. He said, what I am hearing on Gal Gadot is that she's fired and DC is permanently done with her and want unknown young people to play Wonder Woman Company. Wonder Woman Company?
Wonder Woman and Company.
And she is not returning.
I feel like that would be a bigger...
Exactly.
We would know that by...
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, what we said yesterday is everything that we've known. Basically, an article came out the other day saying Gunn teased that there'll be a big announcement in the next couple of weeks. But no, sorry.
They're having trouble handling this press stuff with all these things that they're trying to do. Like there's so many. Well, there's so many rumors going about, you
That's
know.
not press.
Yeah.
That's just rumors, speculation.
Yeah, I know, but some of them are getting traction, and it's kind of hard to stamp those out once they gain traction.
I
mean,
kind
who
of
cares?
feel like they're thinking it's good publicity in a way.
It
Like,
is. People are talking about it. Like the way you stamp out that stuff is you make announcements, right?
Yeah.
And you let reality shine through. So I mean, like it's whatever. It's more Schrodinger's superhero universe. It's everything and nothing all at once.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that they're taking their time to figure out exactly what they want to do and how they want to do it.
Yeah, people want stuff now though, so we can.
But
that is true. Our good friend Random Randy Savage said, "No disrespect on her, she's great, but we're building a new universe, so everything needs to go complete and total redo. Bring in a new face."
What's the Deadpool quote? We need a bunch of young 20-somethings that can carry a franchise 10 to 15 years or something like that.
I mean, it
10 to
worked for
12
the
years.
MCU, and now they're all in their 40s. So
Yep.
Did Agent Reason, who's at Birkenbein_Mark, said, "Who cares?"
You commented, sir.
Yes, you cared. And then Mick minus your host with the most, who's at me movies TV mad, said, "I think she's going to quit."
Maybe.
I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
Here's the thing: what did Gal Gadot do before Wonder Woman?
The Fast and Furious.
Okay, is that it? All right.
Pretty much.
I'm trying to think like what other big franchises she's been in, and have they all been post Wonder Woman? But no, you're right. Fast and Furious was first.
Where they found her.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's like I said, we've had like 4 different people respond, and it's all been all over the place. So nobody knows anything, and that's good because again, Gunn and Safran just had all their plans, firmed up, and now it's time to make announcements. As we all know, like things change, so they don't even know what's going on totally yet.
Yeah, I mean, I also kind of think they probably still have to work out contracts for some of these things to firm them up, and that's why they haven't made announcements yet. Like, if they want to keep someone, they've probably got to renegotiate contracts. If they want to get rid of someone, they have to discuss it with them before they can announce it. So, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. And it also goes back to my argument that I make sometimes about the normies. Like, people sit there and they go like, "Oh, who cares?" and blah, blah. But it's not like the DC movies have been gone that long where if they rebooted it, people aren't going to feel like
we just talked about Black Adam 3 months ago.
Right. It's not going to feel like a harsh, like, "Oh my God, what are they doing?" kind of thing. Which more on that when we get to the news. Let's see. Oh, did we talk about Rocky last week?
Who, Rod?
The movie Rocky.
Balboa?
We talked about it earlier today. Kassan Warren said, "Speaking of balls flapping while running up the stairs," I don't remember what that's in reference to.
I have no idea. It sounds like something I would have said, but I still have no idea what he refers to. I talked about Rocky multiple times in my video production class this week. The Steadicam was first popularized in that shot in Rocky when he's the aforesaid ball slapping part. And I also show them the No Easy Way Out montage
from
Rocky
God.
4 as the greatest example of a montage in film because it catches you up on the story and tells everything you know about the character. And then I surprisingly got choked up talking about it because I'm a giant wiener.
Well, speaking of balls flapping while running upstairs, Rocky 1 through 5 are on Netflix.
They are.
I've binged them all and found I still love them.
They're great movies.
I think that's a hint. You might want us to do the Rocky movies.
Oh, I would love that. I have the guy who runs the other podcasts, the guy who's in charge of all the wrestling podcasts they do, is like a huge Rocky fan, and he actually did a multi-part deep dive series. Oh, Dave's frozen again. He's got evil face on. You see it, John?
I'm trying to not look directly into its eyes.
Just keep going.
The Mask of the Blue Death. Yeah, he would love that. Actually, I would love to talk about Rocky. It's not quite what we do, but I would still love it.
He is a hero.
He is a hero. He's like the hero.
Kassan said, "Speaking of TV shows, are you guys talking about TV shows to watch in 2023? Me bashing my head against the wall, yelling, 'Strange New Worlds.' Also, watch Andor. It's ducking great."
The more people push me into Andor, the less I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like it's getting to the Avatar levels for me. People are like, "Oh, you've never seen this?"
Yeah.
Nope. Now I have a conversation.
Randy said, "FYI, because I know no one on the show watches the CW."
He's right.
And it was like 3 years ago. Miller's Flash was in Grant's Crisis. Also, my guess is they credit Gustin because that scene is coming back from the other point of view.
I asked about that last week. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Sure.
And then finally, Kassan also said, by all accounts, The Last of Us on HBO is top tier stuff. If so, why is it so hard for other production houses to reproduce content for games or books with genuine results? I'll be watching it this week.
I think sometimes it's easier to experience as a story because, like, when you're playing a video game, you're experiencing a story. When you read a book or watch a movie, you're watching a story. I just think the experience is different. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think there's a reason why vast majority of game-based movies suck.
Also, go ahead.
Well, there's also the fact that they're like games these days. Some of them are like, this one's got 3 different endings. How do you do that in a movie? You know,
Like Clue.
Yeah,
Clue.
Clue.
You have one where Colonel Mustard killed them, Mr. Body. You have one where Miss Peacock did it. You have one where the butler did it.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen the Clue? You saw the Clue movie, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, well, you can do that, but that's not like your standard movie goer.
No.
Thing, right?
That was required viewing when we were younger.
I was younger than you guys, but I enjoyed it.
I feel like that's the one movie everyone's seen. And then, like, everyone bought it when it came out. I'm going to date myself here. On VHS because it had all 3 endings on it.
All the endings. I think it was like 5. I think it was 5 endings. Maybe I'm
it was 3.
It's 3? Okay.
Yeah. He also went on to say, also, anyone check out the Velma show on HBO? ?
No.
I heard it was dog shit. And
Everyone
I have
says.
a warm spot in my heart for Scooby-Doo.
I'm in the same boat. I love Scooby-Doo. It's one of Andy's favorite things. And,
I have heard that it is total garbage from a lot of people.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
I'm normally the one that disagrees with you, but I've seen 3 different reviews of it so far, and everything was like they made the character so unlikable and such a bitch.
It's
that
what's
what
her
was
name?
the point?
Mindy
Kaling.
Kaling.
Yeah.
It's like, other than a few episodes of The Office that she wrote, like everything that she's done, like, gets panned really bad. I don't know. Like, she wrote it so she could be Velma. Like, that's the whole point of that show. And it's just like, well, then what are you doing? And the main criticism I keep hearing is like, it feels like they're trying to compete with the what's her face cartoon, Joker's ex.
Oh, Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn cartoon,
which just won an award. Apparently,
People love that show.
And it's like, but they're saying like they're trying way too hard to compete with it, like to copy the tone and everything of that, and it just doesn't work.
It feels to me like they went so far away from the core of what makes those characters that why bother doing it?
Yeah,
like if you want to, like, there's good.
Just create a new show with
create a new show. Do a parody. The Venture Brothers did a fantastic Scooby-Doo parody, right, where all the characters were like 70s serial killers.
Also, I mean, if you're going to do that and not even have the dog in it, like, you don't have Scooby in
well, and there's my problem with this whole thing is when you think the problem with Scooby-Doo is the talking dog, you've lost the plot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right away.
Then you've just done Buffy.
A very, very bland Buffy.
Bland Buffy, yeah, no argument. Like, I think that it's not working. People don't seem to like it, but they'll keep it on because people want to like anything Mindy Kaling does. So it'll get 1 season, and then Zaslav's running around with scissors cutting everything at WB right now. So, they already have the show done. Might as well finish it out and then banish it to the exile lands.
By the way, Harley Quinn it was the Critics' Choice Award, but Harley Quinn won Best Animated Series.
Yeah, people love that show. I've never seen it, but people absolutely love it. The Kaylee
it's raw.
It's good casting.
It's raw.
It's raunchy too, but that's the tone they were going for.
But that's also the tone of the Harley Quinn comic, so it works. Like, Harley Quinn comic is very, very much DC's answer to Deadpool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that works over there. That's all good.
Also, we talked about books last week, or kinda. John talked a lot about books. So Kassan chimed in. JD, if you want some fantasy books recommendations, here are mine.
Lay it on me.
Malazan Book of the Fallen by Steve Erickson. Broken Empire series by Mark Lawrence? Oh, sorry. Yes. First Law series by Joe Abercrombie?
Like
Abercrombie and Finch.
Like as in Fitch, yes.
Yes. Black Company series by Glenn Cook and Kushel's Legacy. I'm going to guess that's Kushel by Jacqueline Carey.
I've never read any fantasy in my life. I've done a little bit of urban fantasy, but never straight fantasy. I've never read Tolkien. I've never actually read Game of Thrones. Just watched the show. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. I've never heard of any of these books, so I've got an Audible subscription, and I was just racking my brain today, going, "What am I going to get this month?" So perhaps I will check out this and stuff.
I was about to say this because he also finished up with Malazan is my favorite, all-time favorite. I haven't been able to read many books after completing it because it's masterfully written. Mark Lawrence being the only exception.
I'll add them to my list too.
So there you go. There's some books, people. Check them out.
Going on Audible right now. This is Audible. Oh, I still have 0 credits. Why do I have 0 credits? When do I get my credits? This is bullshit.
I have a bunch of credits. I
get it tomorrow.
I have a ton of credits right now. Not on Audible, but on Amazon.
And then someone missed us, guys.
Someone did what? No.
Someone missed us. So
no, they didn't.
When I do the social media madness, I then do a tweet every week, shout outs to the people we mentioned who participate in social media madness, right? So Tim Jones, who we haven't mentioned,
he reached out to me. He goes, "You guys done? Did you guys stop making the show?"
Oh my God, no, we're
on break. We're on break.
The whole secret of our success is that we just basically outlast everybody else
by not trying very hard.
No, exactly. We're never going to burn out. We're just going to keep doing it.
So Tim said, "Glad to hear you guys back. Whew, I was getting worried."
We're here, Tim. My wife said, "He goes, you ever gonna go make the show again?" And I was like, "I don't know. Whenever Dave feels like."
Sorry, I like to take time off during the holidays, and then this past holiday was horrible. Graham Gainsford said, "Thanks for the mention. Enjoyed hearing your thoughts. And for the old superhero movie reviews, I suggest this. I saw it when it came out on VHS, I think, and it's Meteor Man."
I see we're talking about Meteor Man, the Robert Townsend movie.
Yeah.
The first Malazan book is actually called Gardens of the Moon. That's a good title. So I've just purchased it on Audible. I'm going to give it a listen.
Huh? I just bought it on Kindle.
You're up, Dave.
I'm what?
You're up. We both just bought the book on recommendation from a listener.
Mm-hmm.
I'll download
Get on that shit, man.
And then finally we said...
No, sold it completely. I like it.
Yep.
Finally, we had talked about Ezra Miller. We got more about Ezra Miller coming up, too.
We talk about him so goddamn much on this show. I feel like this is Ezra Miller speaks.
We talked about, the rumors that he's going to continue on as the Flash after this movie in the DCU. We asked the audience what they thought, and then, of course, Randy had to chime in with, "I agree with JD.
I love this." Sorry, what are we talking about?
It's the WB version of the bank bailout. The movie is too big to fail.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, Randy's right. That's a pretty good comparison right there.
Yeah.
And by big, I mean they went all out on this one.
But
My hope is everyone watches this. Yeah. My hope is everyone watches this from the couch 6 months later on Netflix. Max, or Netflix's Max. I think he meant HBO Max. After the fire sale.
After the merger, yeah.
Oh, after the fire sale of Warner Brothers. Okay. Could you imagine that if Netflix bought HBO?
No, it's not gonna happen. HBO, I think you're more likely to see HBO Max kind of go away and them sell off all their properties rather than selling that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Ezra Miller speaks now.
Yeah, well, at least we know that while he's around, we'll always have something to talk about. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we have a news article about him. We'll get to that shortly.
Yep.
But that is all the social media madness for this week. So if you like to follow us on social media and be part of social media madness, here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllstars. You will not be disappointed. Now, it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thanks for that, Don. And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available on YouTube, wherever podcasts are available. And on that note, we'll take our quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the news.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we're back. And our first story is Ezra Miller pleads guilty to trespassing. So the original charge was breaking and entering. He took a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to trespassing, whereas he could have gotten up to 25 years in prison if he had been found guilty. So now it's just, I think, a fine.
Yeah, plead it down. He'll get a fine. Warner Bros. Will cover his ass, and if the movie doesn't do great, he done so.
How much you want to bet Warner Brothers forced him to take the plea?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because he's guilty as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe his lawyer was like, look, there's no way you're going to win this. Like,
well, his lawyer could say whatever, but this guy's clearly a maniac. But if the Warner Brothers people are like, look, bro, you're either going to jail or listen to us. You know, do you want to be the Flash? Do you want to be the Flash?
I don't know. Does he really want to be the Flash, though? I mean,
I don't know.
He wants to be a Flasher, but
I think he wants to be Jesus Christ, to be quite honest with you. He's a freaking lunatic.
Yeah.
Does this guilty plea?
He goes by they. He is. He goes by they. I'm not trying to
I know. It's just like who knows if he's really serious though.
I don't think he is really serious. That's why I roll my eyes about this. Like when Grant Morrison wants it, okay, sure, you're Grant Morrison, but this guy, you're a freaking criminal. Am I wrong? Am I off on this?
No,
you're not off on this.
No, if anybody else told me, I want to be referred to as they, I'd be like, okay, fine. That's your prerogative and no problem. But this guy,
with them, I'm a little questionable on the motives.
Right. That's the whole, like, two things behind that, right? Like, number one, yes, exactly. Like, given their past and everything that they've done for attention and whatnot, it feels like it's just another plea for attention. And two, like, not a good person. Like, like, do we have to worry about offending a not good person? I don't want to offend anyone else. So
yeah, but this like not a good person.
I don't think anybody will claim Ezra Miller. Like, he's pretty much public enemy number one.
So is this so what is going to happen with this movie at this point? Like, does that hurt?
They're going to show it.
It's going to come out and people are going to make decisions. Like I okay, real talk. I think a lot of the future of WBD kind of revolves around what happens with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I really do. It's because if it doesn't succeed, they're not going to have the money to do the next projects. Like, they need a big movie. They haven't had one. They've had hits, but they haven't had an Avengers level.
They need a smash. Because they need something that'll make a lot of money
and will draw people in for the next few movies.
Yeah, but they need they need a hook. They haven't given us a hook, right?
No,
not really.
Black Adam was not it was a Black Adam sized movie, to be quite frank.
They're betting everything on this, but they're still coming out with Gotham Knights. Like,
that's related to the Batman movie. Like, those are working. Like, they're going to let Matt Reeves do his thing in his corner because the Batman one was good. We all liked it, and it made money.
I don't think that's related to the Batman.
Isn't the Gotham Knights the Penguin? Yes, it is. That's related to that show. Let me look.
I don't think it is. I think this is just.
I thought Gotham Knights was a video game.
It's the CW. It's a new CW show.
Oh, that okay.
It's
Arkham Knights is the game, I think.
It centers on the Bat family.
Right. It's like another Gotham, only with just all the kids now, because you got to get the kid demographic.
Okay, hold on. In the wake of Bruce Wayne's death, his adopted son, Turner Hayes, forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies. It says Todd. I don't know who Todd is. Todd works with these children when their parents are all framed for murder of Bruce to clear their names.
Wouldn't that be Todd? Like,
I think they meant like
Jason Todd?
Like Jason
yeah,
Todd.
Jason Todd, yeah.
But it's the character, the renowned Batman character of Turner Hayes. Oh, the characters are going to be Carrie Kelly, Harper Rowe, Cullen Rowe, Dula Dent, Stephanie Brown. There's going to be a Misha Collins.
Why do an adoptive son? Why not do Damien?
This is like
going to be shit.
This is Descendants. This is like Descendants on Disney.
Okay,
it's just we're going to get all of the kids of the bad guys.
It's Birds of Prey.
It's worse than that, though.
Honestly, guys, it's a CW show. Who cares? We don't cover those anyway.
I didn't think the CW was even like going to be a network anymore.
Neither did I, but that's what it says on this Wikipedia entry.
Apparently, well, on comicbook.com too. So
I don't know.
Well, this is happening.
Oh, it's coming out on March 14th. We have to review this pilot episode.
I'm up for that.
We do? Okay. Fine.
Oh, it's gonna be shit, and we'll get the trash all over it, and we'll get a ton of social media engagement for shitting on it. See, that's something that we need to do more of, is like talk about what's going on so we can shit on things, because people love that stuff.
The writer Abrams has written for Batwoman, Supergirl, and All American. The writing on Supergirl was notoriously horrible. It's going to be a lot of times, and
it's going to be a CW show, right?
Yeah.
Like
it's going to be CW's version of Gotham, is what it sounds like. That show lasted forever.
Wait, Five Ash and Stodorux currently serve as executive producers on Batwoman, have credits on Gotham and Krypton and the Vampire Diaries.
I think people miss.
It literally will be Gotham.
Missed the point of like why Arrow and Flash were successful,
because they were good.
They were good, but they were also. It was a sea of nothing.
It was a sea of nothing, and they were fairly comic accurate at the time.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't watch like Flash or Arrow and be like, it's not the way, it was pretty well done. Like, I don't think anybody can argue that Stephen Amell wasn't pretty damn good as that version of Oliver Queen, a very Bruce Wayne-esque version of Oliver Queen. But let's be honest, most versions of Oliver Queen are very Bruce Wayne-y. Yep. So yeah, works. And Grant Gustin's awesome as the Flash. Nobody's gonna deny that.
So much so that I don't know if you heard, they're bringing back Stephen Amell for the Flash finale.
They should.
Yeah.
If they're wrapping out that part of the universe, the Arrowverse, they should bookend it with him.
Yeah. So speaking of things that Warner Brothers does, it doesn't make sense.
Which is everything.
Warner Brothers speak. I feel like we talk about them every week too.
They're going to continue with the Batman BatVerse, separate from the DCU. So they're going to continue a DC universe, whatever that means at this point. And then, but they're going to keep Batman separate, or this version of Bat. So we're going to have two Batmans.
Oh, just remember, Joker is separate too.
Yeah, Joker is separate too. But again, DC, it works. It's fine. This is what DC always is. However, I don't know if this Robert Pattinson version of Batman works in a world where magic exists, where aliens walk among us.
Why not? We don't know anything about the greater world. All we know about is Gotham.
But it feels like the Christian Bale version that's a little bit more grounded in reality, right? That's the point of these things. And I think Batman has always been a rough fit for me with the Justice League, because I think that having all these things, kind of takes away what Batman is. Like, Batman is always supposed to be the most, plausible of the superheroes. And having him hang out with Superman does, I think, hinder him a little bit. I think it's okay with just Superman, but like with all of them, it gets a little much. So
it's where the concept of Super Bat comes from.
Yeah, or Bat-God.
Bat-God, that's it.
He has to be. They have to give him all those things so he can be competitive. And like, how can he be competitive amongst the gods?
It was supposed to be his intellect that made him competitive.
Well, it is, but
but they don't write him like that. Like
Grant Morrison did.
I right. But like these days they write him as like, it's daytime and he just drops down in the middle of 40 bad guys that are all super powered. It's like, no, that's not how it works. He works in the shadows, but
the best Batman stories are always going to be Batman versus more grounded villains, right?
Right. Yeah.
However, and okay, I'm okay with them. I'm okay with them keeping Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves' version of the character separate. And then if we have to get something else for the mainstream DCU, fine, whatever. I'm good with it.
But I'm always trying to think of this from the view of the normies.
No, don't think like that, because we always we have this. I've seen this in wrestling too, where they assume the casual fan, as we call them in the wrestling world, is a fucking moron, right? So we say, well, the casuals can't possibly understand what's going on here. They can. It's a different version. Every casual fan has seen 6 different versions of Batman already.
But the casual fan has problems like the biggest problem Marvel has right now is the barrier of entry. Like, people. We talk about on the show.
It's not a problem. They're making a lot of money.
It
could be a problem.
I look at like my girlfriend likes this stuff, but she's not like us. She's normie. And she's like, I don't know what to watch. There's too much. She tries to watch a movie with me and is like, I don't understand half of that because I didn't see the 5 other movies that preceded this.
But that's the difference is a movie as opposed to comics, is you can sit there and say, well, here's your Disney Plus subscription, get caught up. And that's on the person, whether they do or they don't. But they are making movies specifically for their fan base now. They don't need to appeal to the normies. Like, they have their own fans who love what they do. Now, when the grosses start going down, then it's a problem. At the moment, It's not a problem because the grosses are up, right? And the Batman made a lot of money.
Yep.
So that's not the problem. Warner Brothers has a lot more problems than Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah. The problem is they don't know how to write any of the characters
for
movies besides Batman and Superman.
They don't allow that to happen. And quite frankly, like what Marvel did with Iron Man was a gigantic risk. And we've seen a lot more people fail trying to do stuff like that than succeed. Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot more failures trying to do obscure characters than there are wins. Like that's what makes what Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. did special.
I was going to say, I think the difference is, and I don't know what Robert Downey Jr.'s tastes were before he played Iron Man. Like, he might have liked
cocaine, mostly gin. It's like
yes.
Gin
he
and
might
cocaine.
have liked the comics. He might not have.
You've seen Less Than Zero.
But Favreau is a fanboy. Like,
yes,
he loves this stuff.
Yes.
So you knew he was going to do the character justice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, David Goyer is a fan too, and look what he gave us. Like, mixed bag, some good, some bad.
But like Zach, I don't think is a real fan of these characters that he was given. Like, he liked Batman. I don't know, but he obviously is not a Superman.
I think he likes Superman as a concept. I don't think he likes.
He doesn't understand the character though.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Zack Snyder is very interested in Zack Snyder's ideas. Right. And sometimes you get like creators like that, like when Chuck Austin was writing the X-Men or something like that, like who are more interested in what they have to say, like their own takes on these characters rather than what necessarily works these characters. And sometimes the deconstruction of a character works. Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns was a deconstruction of Batman, and that worked, but it doesn't necessarily work with other characters, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the mainstream was trying to chase that for a long time. And we never quite wind up hitting that again because it was meant to be the exception, not the rule. And when people try to make the exception the rule, like The Watchmen, for example, it doesn't work.
Right. No, that's true. And we also pointed out, if you started with a dark Superman or a brooding Superman, I won't even say he was dark necessarily, but a brooding Superman, how do you bring Batman to be the foil against the darkness against him?
I don't think Superman was necessarily dark in Man of Steel. I think the problem was the people making the movie wanted to make him cool, right? And to Zack Snyder, that mean and David Goyer, that means dark. I was an apologist for the Zod kill scene at first, until I read David Goyer's comments on him. They wanted Superman to kill somebody so they could destroy the boys, so they could deconstruct the Boy Scout image.
Right.
And when I read that, I was like, okay, that really that turned me up. I said, okay, I see through this now. They weren't writing. This wasn't a character moment. This was a conscientious choice.
Yeah.
Of filmmaker agenda.
Yeah.
And I turned on those movies after that. So if David Goyer could keep his big fucking mouth shut, maybe I would have liked these movies. But then that made me so sour on the rest of these movies because it wasn't about bringing the characters to life. It was about trying to make them KEWL, cool.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Like ice.
Stupid. I mean, like, I'm still mad. It's been 10 years. I'm still mad about Man of Steel because I was like emotional waiting for that movie. And it was just, I don't know why. I knew Zack Snyder was Zack Snyder, but the man cuts a good trailer.
So here's the thing though, and I'm just going to talk about this from a purely like business standpoint. Let's say let's take Flash off the table for a second. The first, oh God, I can't think of his name. The director, the guy who's in charge of DC now, our buddy
James
Gunn. Let's say the first James Gunn DC movie. Let's say he comes out with a new Superman first, right? And it doesn't do well, but the next Batman sequel blows it out of the water. Does Warner Brothers now go, okay, let's build our universe around that series of movies and let's, abandon what you're working on?
Depends on how much cocaine they use the night before.
I don't even know if it depends on that kind of thing. I think it really is going to depend on what happens with this next movie. Like, I think there's a reason why they haven't announced any of James Gunn and Peter Safran's plans, because I think they're all okay until we see how this movie does. And that movie's performance is going to dictate where we go from here, because that's just reality.
You think they're just going to say, if this does bad, they're going to be like, okay, whole new slate, or if this one
That
does
could be
okay,
what-
then they'll key off of it. Maybe
Could be. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in those meetings. I would assume that if it works, why get rid of it?
Right.
And now it could be, again, it's essentially a Flashpoint movie. So it could be getting us to this new universe. Nobody knows. Nobody knows a damn thing about this movie, realistically.
No, we don't.
You know? So when the Super Bowl comes up in a couple weeks, we're going to legitimately have our first look at what this is. Be able to start making some judgments. Again, it's hard to judge a book or a movie by a trailer, but we'll get some ideas at least about the tone and kind of what they're trying to capture. If I were them, I would not do one of those super non-specific trailers, because you don't have that kind of market confidence or consumer confidence. I would go all out and do something awesome and give us a reason to be excited about it.
I would not be shocked if it has a totally different feel than the first trailer they released last year, the little teaser. Like, I have a feeling that this has been heavily edited.
It could be. It very well could be, because again, we don't know. I think so much. Think about this: from when this movie was made to where we are right now, so much of what the WB didn't exist when this movie started filming. Right? That didn't come. Warner Bros. Discovery started this summer, and everything's changed. And like, remember, it was 2 years ago that we watched Justice League, and we thought,
Yeah.
this is where this is going to go.
Cut.
Oh, no, it's not where it's going to go. And, it's going to go here. Henry Cavill's back. Henry Cavill's not back. Like, the whole thing has been in such a state of flux, because there's so many, it's not even cooks in the kitchen. There's so many owners of the restaurants that nobody knows what's going to happen. This is like their chance to really put out a dish. And does the market like the meal? That's what it's going to come down to. So I think that's why, what's Gunn going to do? I think they're going to keep all these things close to the vest for a little bit, because I think they're going to have to react. I really do. Like, I know they have plans, but plans can change. You can sort of say, well, I want to make the Atom, Blue Beetle, Flash 2, and Man of Steel, the next Man of Steel movie. But what all those are can change drastically. You know what I'm saying? As far as tone and storyline and who does what. Like, you have to see where this lands.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, you can't really blame them, because they're fighting for their lives at this point because of all the decisions they've made before this. So they have to be able to pivot at a moment's notice at this point, or die, or get bought out by Netflix. Or
get bought out by Netflix. Exactly.
Possible. There's talk of merging, Johnny, you want to take off your headphones? There's talk of merging Warner Brothers Discovery with Peacock. I've heard that discussion. That could just be rumor and innuendo, but I have heard that. Care to comment?
I don't know. Yeah.
Care to comment?
Nope.
Tell us what your company's doing. We know you're in all those meetings.
No, I'm not actually. I know crap about that stuff. I'm.
Where's the bomb? Tell me where the bomb is.
I'm so far from that division, I couldn't tell you what wire to cut.
All right. You guys still excited for the Spider-Verse sequel?
I will tell you what, I have a 6-year-old that will not stop talking about it. That is telling me June 1st, we're going to go see Across the Spider-Verse, right, Dad? And I have a little man that is so freaking geeked up for this movie. He got a Miles Morales blanket yesterday.
Nice.
And he's just all wrapped up in it. He cannot wait for this.
So they have released the logos of the Spider people that are going to be in the movie. So now we know which characters, at least some of the characters that they're using. Of course, Miles Morales, obviously the main character. Gwen Stacy, we know, is back. But we know from the after credit scene of the first one, Miguel O'Hare, Spider-Man 2099.
That character.
But we're getting Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. Pavatir Prabhakar.
Yeah.
The Indian Spider-Man.
From the comics. That's a comic character.
Been around in the comics for a while.
He was, I swear, they had an animation of him too. Like a cartoon.
Might have. I'm not sure about
I swear
that.
They had it.
Hobart Brown, who is the punk Spider-Man.
Ivy Brown. That would be this universe's version of the Prowler.
Oh, that's right. Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider.
Let me tell you, got a little boy who's super excited about that one because I turned him into a Clone Saga nerd. Didn't see that coming.
Cyborg Spider-Woman.
I'm not sure about this one.
It's a character from the Marvel's Edge of the Spider-Verse event.
I read that.
And Margot Spider-Bite.
Done.
Originally appearing in Vault of Spiders #1, Margot was introduced as the inhabitant of a world where everyone prefers to spend their time in cyberspace, a simulation occupied by virtual avatars. Taking on the mantle of spider bite, Margot uses her identity to halt various forms of cybercrime.
She's from the world of Ready Player One.
That's what, yeah.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know how that's going to work because it's not like.
Well, I hated Ready Player One, so.
But how would that work anyway? Like, they're all in the real world. Like, how is she? Does she have powers? Does she? I don't know the character. Like, or does she only have powers while she's in the virtual reality? I don't know.
I mean, Ready Player One, I'm sure was inspired a bit by like Snow Crash
everything that ever happened in pop
or Neuromancer. Yeah. So yeah. Well, but the originals, like the I forget what the author's name was. Who did Snow Crash? But it's Neil Stevenson, and then there was Neuromancer. But yeah, like it can be done well.
Yeah.
William Gibson, who did Neuromancer. So it can be done very well, but that's a very side. You're getting towards the side of like a Spider Pig. The farther out you go with those, they get kind of wild, don't they?
Yeah. So that also means we're not getting. Are we only getting those characters?
No, I bet those are the main characters.
Yeah, because there's too many to.
Well, you see in the Orrery of Spiders, or they're calling this one, I forget what they call it in the Marvel world. There's a lot of different ones, but I think these are the ones that we're gonna be focusing on. I'm very happy Ben Reilly's one of them. Very happy.
So we're not going to get Peter B. Parker or.
No, he's in we've seen him in the trailer.
Oh, that's right. You're right. He was in the trailer.
There's no reason to give us the insignia of the actual Spider-Man because we've all seen it.
Have we?
Spider-Man? I think so. I believe so.
Did you know that the Spider-Man insignia has changed many times on the costume over the years?
No.
Two or three?
At least. It was depending on who was drawing them. So
you're dropping. This is why you listen to this show, for stone cold facts like this. Did you know the symbol of Spider-Man has in fact changed over the last 60 years?
Well, I mean, I find it funny, right? Because like the Batman symbol has changed too, depending on who's drawing him.
Not as often as you might
but not
think.
as often, right?
Yeah.
But like you look at, let's say, like Ditko's Spider-Man versus
Ramita, like from
Ramita,
1 to
yeah,
2. Yeah, it's very different.
Right,
And then it stays the same until like the Ramita design pretty much stays copacetic until Todd McFarlane. After Todd McFarlane, all shit's up. It's up for grabs. Whoever's drawing it has different interpretation.
But I've actually read comics and they have like those encyclopedias and whatnot, and they explain it as his costume gets damaged and he fixes it himself. So when he fixes his costume, he doesn't make the spider look exactly the same every time.
Oh.
So they have explained that away. So yes. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Sure.
Are you going to draw exactly the same every time?
I can't draw, so no.
Neither can I.
So I guess we're all going to go see this. Of course, we're going to have to review it for the podcast.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of stuff to review for the podcast this summer.
Oh, I know. Speaking of which, we're going to have to review Ant-Man Quantumania.
Quantumania, oh.
And did you guys see the new trailer that dropped?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Looks a little more serious in tone for an Ant-Man movie.
It's very serious in tone. Obviously, it feels like they're definitely trying to set Kang up to be the big bad in a lot of ways. Starting off with the first trailer where Janet was afraid of him, but then turning it into like he's going to hurt his family if he's going to hurt Scott's family if he doesn't do something for him. It's like, okay, like he's going to be serious trouble. I mean, they're building up to the Kang dynasty, so I guess so.
I mean, yeah. It seems like this is a Scott makes a deal with the devil movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Jonathan Majors is everywhere.
It's there one more day. I mean,
it can't be that bad.
We hope.
But
then again,
I feel the most exciting thing in this new trailer was at 1 minute and I think 46 seconds, MODOK.
Why do people like MODOK?
I don't know.
Understand that. Like because he's weird looking. He is weird looking.
He is very weird looking.
Yeah.
So do you think he's going to be like an important character, or is he going to be like a side character
I
for
think he's gonna
Kang?
be a side character for Kang. I don't think they're going to put much thought into MODOK because it is in fact MODOK.
And it's such a weird thing because it's like the shot of him, he's like in shadow. You can't even see his face.
Much more mechanical.
Right. It looks very mechanical, and it's like, why are like they're giving us a hint but keeping it secret? And I think you're right. Like there aren't that many people who really care about MODOK who are like going to be like, oh my God, they put MODOK in this movie.
Correct, because like I said, it is in fact MODOK.
And now you've just guaranteed that he's the linchpin of Phase 5.
I am fairly safe. I think I feel fairly safe in saying MODOK will not be the linchpin of any movie ever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Not
that's
even a MODOK
Kang
movie.
and whatever he's messing up in this movie.
The quantum universe or quantum realm, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I like that we didn't get a lot of plot in this one. Just a lot of
Right.
like emotional stuff. So yeah, man, this
I
could be a lot
don't
of fun.
want to see the plot though. Like this, I mean, and
Yeah,
this
I agree.
this guarantees, I mean, it's kind of guaranteed this is going to have a lot of plot, but I don't want to know what it is. I want to.
We went through a phase where every trailer told you the movie you were going to go watch.
Yep.
And now we've kind of gone the opposite. People got tired of that. I mean,
Are
we're
they
getting
killing
stuff-
off Scott Lang?
I doubt it, but I want.
I kind of feel like they're half trying to make you think that in this trailer.
Well, much like Rocket, we showed a shot of Rocket with tears in his eyes, and all the noobs went, "Rocket's gonna die," and I don't know why anyone made that assumption.
We all know it's going to be Drax, so
Dave Bautista is going out of his way to tell you as much.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And then Mephisto will show up, right, John?
Sacha Baron Cohen, he's
Well,
coming.
apparently, yeah. Apparently, yes, he is.
Can't wait, because then you can sit there and go, "Ha! I knew it all along."
I was right.
Yeah, first try, got her.
Victory.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm kind of curious. I want the fans to chime in on this on social media. Do you like MODOK as a character? If you do, why? Or do you not care at all that he's going to be in this movie?
Or do you just like the design?
Right. Is it just a design thing? So, well, that is all the news I brought. But John, you had an article or two you wanted to talk about.
A while ago, we talked about Kodansha, which does a lot of manga sales
yeah.
in the U.S. and translations for manga.
It was a big argument on the show some month or so
Right.
ago.
So the story was about Kodansha striking up a bargain with the devil, aka Mephisto, aka Disney. Well, one of the other shoes has finally dropped. There's something called a simulpub. What that means is when a new chapter of a manga is published and released in Japan, the English version is simultaneously on the same day released here in the US. Well, apparently Kodansha is canceling or actually even removing some of their simulpubs from their site and discontinuing a bunch, some of which were supposed to, like some of which that manga was like in their final chapters. And now you're not going to have the English versions published for some reason. And some of them are actually very popular. Fairy Tail, Fire Force, To Your Eternity, Cardcaptor Sakura. So, gee, I wonder why a company that it has a new agreement with Disney would stop publishing the English versions of manga all of a sudden, you know?
Oh, I told you.
Yeah.
Because they're probably Disney wants to do the distribution.
Right. And that's what I'm thinking, because like some of these, there's like Cardcaptor Sakura, there's like that's in its final chapters, I guess. And there's no way that you would stop just before the end. Like,
yeah,
because people want to buy that. Same thing with like Fairy Tail's still pretty popular. Fire Force is newer, much newer and very popular. Like, and that's just from a very small part of the list, as I understand it.
John, you were right. And the 9 billion manga fans got mad and said, "Don't work with Disney." So like all the companies that were doing the simulpubs were like, "All right, we're not working with you anymore because you work with Disney."
Right. Well, pretty much like and stuff like, I mean, there's a lot of ways. Like that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That is incredibly popular. And you're saying you're no longer going to publish the English versions of that? Like it's guaranteed sales. The
Well, have
only
they
way
made
to do that is if Disney
Have they made an announcement, or they just kind of stopped publishing them right now?
They made the announcement that they're stopping that as of January 31st. They're even going to remove the titles, the electronic titles from their sites.
Okay.
So yeah, it's got to be the mouse pulling strings behind.
I was about to say that means you've got to keep your eyes open for an announcement before January 31st about, is it going to come from Disney or what? Like, oh yeah, if you want manga, go here now.
Right.
Disney does magnet.com.
Right. And it's just, I don't know. It's just we'll see how it goes. Like as long as people get their, it's going to be it's bad for the collecting community because if you're not going to have the same publisher, the format may change. You'll get different people doing the translations. So the story up to now will actually sound different in the English version than it does when somebody else takes over. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong with this. But there you go. That's like step one.
Do manga fans, or I'm sorry, do anime fans get mad when like the voice cast changes?
Hell yes. Like Dragon Ball Z, there's the Ocean dub and the Funimation dub, I think it is, or there's 4 kids. But yeah, when there are people on both sides, they're like, no, the Ocean dub sucks. Well, the Funimation dub sucks, and it goes back and forth like that. So, and then there's people like me, they're like, the Team 4-star dub is the best. But there was actually, I remember when this is back in the early 90s when they were actually broadcasting Dragon Ball Z in the US. And I think they switched from the Funimation dub to the Ocean dub midstream. And you went from one chapter one week, and the next week you came back and the episode sounded completely different, including the background music, and people were pissed. So yeah, like it does make a difference.
I'm trying to think of shows where they've changed actors midway through, and if it was jarring or not.
Well, I mean, the U.S. like, look at something like, didn't they change the woman on not Third Rock from the Sun, the Big Bang Theory? Like, didn't they change one of the main actresses for that? And they've done that with like Roseanne too.
Well, they changed the actress who played Becky, I think.
Right. Like, and then
towards the end,
she
came back at the end of the
too,
yeah. And then they kept switching like that. They just made fun of that by switching the actor a couple of times at the end. But yeah, I mean, it's happened. One of the more famous ones is Bewitched with Dick York. And,
that's right.
And I forget the other guy. And people didn't like that, but that was a while ago. Things are a little bit different now. I guess we're more okay with it if it's a better actress, like it was on The Big Bang Theory.
I don't know. I do think it hurts shows a lot of times when they change out characters or they kill off characters sometimes because an actor wants to leave.
If it's an upgrade, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
How often is it an upgrade though?
Not usually. Usually it's because something bad happened to one of the actors, or
it depends.
Like is Kirstie Alley an upgrade from Shelley Long?
The show, okay, I can go on this one. The show changes at that point, right? It did better ratings after she left, but the focus of the show really changes. Like when Shelley Long is there, it's really the Sam and Diane show and their wacky friends. When Rebecca comes in, it really becomes more about the bar and the people in the bar. Sam Malone's character big time stagnates until the end of the last season, but everyone else benefits from that.
Yeah,
true.
So it's kind of it was already leaning that way in the last Shelley Long season anyway, but the majority of that show was Sam and Diane. Diane leaves, and then it has to by nature change.
And Shelley Long left because she wanted to do movies, right?
And stuff, yeah.
And she did one movie and it sucked, and that was the end of her, basically.
She did a couple, but it just didn't work. Like she did Money Pit with Tom Cruise, and she did
Troop Beverly Hills.
And Ruthless People with Bette Miller, which should have been better than it was, but it wasn't. Like she did stuff, but it just didn't work. And she was like the star in that show, so it should have worked, but it doesn't always.
Yeah. She didn't really like. I don't know. It was her playing off of what's his face.
Dancing.
Yeah, in
their
Cheers.
chemistry was tremendous.
Yeah,
absolutely tremendous.
But she didn't quite find that with anything else, really.
I mean, rarely do you ever. I mean, honest to God, rarely do you find chemistry like that.
It's so funny because, like, I forgot that she's the female lead in Money Pit. Like, I remember Tom Hanks in that movie.
Tom Hanks is a legitimate star.
Yeah,
right. But I couldn't tell. Like, until you just said that, gun to my head, I couldn't tell you who the wife was in that movie right now.
Shelley Long. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, it didn't until like Kirstie Alley had a great career after Cheers either.
True.
You know, like she tried, like Look Who's Talking worked, but that was mainly for the gimmick, right? That could have been anybody. And when she's playing off John Travolta on The Comeback, you know, who was really talented, who got like 2 different comebacks in his career. Like John Travolta is a star, right? And Bruce Willis is the baby at the height of him being Bruce Willis. I mean, like that movie worked because of the high concept. Other than that, what did Kirstie Alley really do? Woody Harrelson had a good career. Ted Danson did stuff, but I don't know if his stuff ever reached the level of Sam Malone.
I don't know. I think Becker was a fairly big hit.
Becker was a successful show, but it worked because Ted Danson, because he's Ted Danson. He became
and the Happy Place. I mean, not the Happy Place, the Good Place.
That was Kirsten Bell's show.
Yeah.
He's just a side character.
True.
That's her show. Very well written show. Very, very well.
Yes.
But again, like that all that stuff comes because he was Sam Malone.
Yeah.
And again, some actors just are better in TV too than being movie stars.
What has George Wendt done?
He's been variations of Norm in many different things.
Hey, you find something that works.
He's done a lot. So John Ratzenberger's had a pretty good
career. John Ratzenberger's done a lot of voice work.
A lot of voiceover work, like very much a centerpiece of Pixar.
Yep.
Right. He's done a very good job parlaying, a bit of fame to make something. Kelsey Grammer had, was able to play that character for another 10 years, hasn't been successful outside of it. But when you played the same guy for 20 years and made a fortune.
That's why he's rebooting the character again.
Because it worked.
Well, because he needs to pay the bills.
I don't think so. I mean, like he's getting like.
So his residuals must be amazing, right?
Obscene. 20 years playing. Like it's like those two shows aren't well taken care of. I think he's just bored and wants something to do.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing. Of all the Cheers ones, the best.
Bring him back as Beast.
No,
they tried that once. Of those guys, Woody Harrelson was the movie star.
Yeah,
and he had a legitimate film career.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot.
The funny thing with him is it was so hard to look past the character of Woody.
Did you see Natural Born Killers?
Yeah, I am. That's what I'm saying. It's
like,
really easy to forget Woody.
That movie disturbed the heck out of me the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't watch it because I'm like, it's Woody. Like,
it's Oliver Stone at his most unhinged.
Yeah,
like I think Tarantino wrote the script too. Like I hate it. I hate it with a blind fury and passion. I do not like that movie, but he's good in it. I can't deny that.
Yeah.
He was good in White Men Can't Jump. Like he was like in the 90s and early 2000s, he was a star. People versus Larry Flint, and then he kind of remade himself now as being an interesting character actor. Zombieland.
Yeah, that's right.
He's Cletus Cassidy now. He was Hamish in the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games movies. Couldn't get the word out. So Woody Harrelson's had a hell of a career.
Yeah. So
this is Cheers talk.
I was about to say, this is a far...
I love Cheers. I could talk about Cheers forever.
This is a far cry from manga.
So, but anyway...
I can't talk about manga. I can talk about Cheers.
Yeah. But, the point being that we're seeing the first steps of Disney taking over. So...
Yeah. All right.
Just taking note of it.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for an announcement, I think.
Yeah, probably, like you said.
All right. Well, that is it, guys. We did it. That is another one in the books. So before we wrap this up, let's go around. Did you learn anything on the podcast this week, or do you have any recommendations? John? Oh, JD, you go first. You have something.
I have a recommendation for everyone. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish.
Okay, fine. Twist my arm, why don't you?
What an excellent movie. What a fantastic story.
Is that a directed?
No. Well, it got a release, but Prime got it pretty quick.
Okay.
And my kid went and saw it twice at the theater.
I don't remember it even coming out, but okay.
It only came out like a month and a half ago. Dave, see this movie. The animation is spectacular. It's Puss in Boots. He's the cat in 9 lives, right? He's on his last life, and Death is the big bad wolf, and he's stalking him. So he's off for a mission to find the wishing star so he can wish his lives back. And he's constantly haunted by the specter of death, who comes onto the scene. Whenever you see him with the whistle, he whistles. And it is one of the most incredible interpretations of death I've ever seen in a film. John, you'll love this. They changed the animation style for the sequences, the action sequences.
Oh, that's called that's called Sakuga.
Yeah,
that's
there's a lot of anime influences, and it's so much better than any piece of shit Shrek movie that ever came out. It's laughable. It's laughable. This movie is absolutely fantastic. I cannot say enough good things about it.
Yeah, I heard like initially with all the Shrek movies.
I did too. This is so much better.
I heard with all the Shrek movies, like the animation was getting better and better where you could count like the follicles on their head. But this one, they smoothed everything out and made it more expressive. So it's not like hyper real, but
No, it's not haiku.
very
They
expressive.
went the opposite way. They went back to like more hand-drawn animation inspirations. I like this. They've stopped trying to make animation hyper realistic. It reminds me a lot more of Into the Spider-Verse.
Right, exactly.
As far
Yeah.
as some things go, like, and the actual story is so good. Like, my kid wants to be Puss in Boots for Halloween. Like, he just loves it, and it is that good. I cannot say enough good things about it. Please go see it.
Okay,
Nice.
All right, John.
I learned nothing. I don't know crap.
I also learned nothing, for the record.
Yeah, which is fine. Although, again, let's see. I mean, I am in the middle of rereading another series by Patricia Briggs. Patricia Briggs. Why can't I talk? Yeah, I know, right? It's like, blah, blah. I know. Patricia Briggs, the Mercy Thompson series. I'm halfway through it. I'm reading about 2 books a week. And when I finish with that, I've got a few others, the Stephen King fairy tale one, and now
I want to hear your thoughts on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I actually, I have the hardcover of that one. So that one I can't wait to read. But otherwise, like, I don't know, I'll do my anime thing. There's a ton of new anime episodes, way more that I like this year than this season, this winter season, than normal. No real interesting titles. Well, Chilling in My 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army. There you go.
That's a hell of a title.
Saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement.
Oh.
Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skills. Yes, I'm watching a lot of isekai. But yeah, there's a lot more interesting ones. So like normally I'll go through them and I'll pick 3 or 4 that I might watch, and by the end I'll like maybe 2 of them. So far I've got like 8 that I want to watch, and like I'm having a trouble after 2 or 3 episodes seeing if there's one I want to drop. So there you go. Good season for anime if you're interested in.
Cool. Let's see. I learned that we should rename the show to Ezra Miller Talk, and that Hassan recommends a lot of good books, and peer pressure says I have to go and download Maslan
Get
Books of
on
the
that,
Fallen
man.
by Steve.
We're not pressuring you. We're totally pressuring you.
I am. Get on that. We'll be friends anymore.
Which I do have an Audible subscription, so I can download that.
Good.
But I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to our social media at the top of the page, and comic book reviews by Goodfoot Kristen. And other than that, I don't have any recommendations this week. I am going to check out that book, so hopefully maybe I can recommend that next week. And yeah, I also will say that we are working on something that hopefully we'll be able to announce in the next week or so. I'll just say that subscribe to our YouTube channel. And
we're getting into porn.
Well, you and John are.
Superhero cheeks.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
That is so freaking brilliant. Oh my God.
So
well played.
Keep an eye out for that, boys and girls. JD's got his side project. All right. On that note, as always, thanks for listening, and don't let your cape caught in the door. Have a good week.